scores on the rebound. Cabrero shot.
Hi Gary, thanks for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. For our viewers and for our fans, can you give them a little bit of information about you and who you are and what you're doing here? Because to the world you're known as the gaffer, aren't you? So you know.
To Clarke I'm known as the gaffer, yeah. I've known him a long time since he played in the juniors. But my name's Gary Moran, I'm the general manager of the Nottingham Panthers. I'm the longest serving general manager in the top flight of ice hockey in this country. Been doing it for far too long, something like 20 years. Originally started as a reporter and a commentator on radio and television of the sport, and then the club asked me to help out a couple of days a week, and that became 7 days a week, and that became 24 hours of every day of every week of every year ever since. So yeah.
Wow. So you bring a wealth of knowledge and experience then as the longest running manager, did you say, as well? So that, you know, so how did you come across David Clarke? Because today we're interviewing David Clarke because he's the captain of Nottingham Panthers and we're doing an old feature on him. But how did you come across him?
Well, I knew David vaguely in the juniors because he was a couple of years ahead of my son, who also played obviously junior hockey before turning pro like David did. But then they played together in what we would call the minors, in the league below the Elite League in Milton Keynes. I actually thought, under guidance from me, a coach was signing David a year before we actually signed him, but it turned out that coach didn't follow through the conversations, and where I was told an offer was turned down, it was never actually properly made. But a year later I got involved myself and we brought David to Nottingham, and he's been a fixture virtually ever since. He popped over to Italy for a cup of coffee, but came back a year later where he belongs. And he may be a Peterborough lad, but we all know that Nottingham's his hometown.
Well, we're glad we've got both of you, and you've taken Nottingham Panthers to some amazing levels, haven't you, as well?
Yeah, we've done a few things in that time.
So tell us a little bit what's going on for you in the land of ice hockey at the minute. So what's happening?
Well, David is going to get to play, if he comes back from injury in time, in the highest level we've ever played at, because there's a new Champions Hockey League, which is ice hockey's equivalent of the European Cup, and 44 teams are in it, and we're ranked 44th out of 44, and we're going to prove them wrong and finish a little higher than that. But we've got big games coming up here in August against teams from Finland and Sweden, and then we've got Hamburg coming in from the DEL. And to put it bluntly, I think every one of those teams has got at least one player on more money than the whole of our team. So they're high quality teams, but ice hockey can be a great leveller, and it can feel like the ice is tilted against you sometimes, and that's going to be our plan. You know, the coach in the summer is getting the team together. He's got one eye on the Champions League, and that can only help because we're aiming high. We always set the bar high at the Panthers, and then that team will also carry on into the Elite League. We won it 2 years ago. We won the playoffs 2 years ago, and we won the cup 2 years ago. That was the fourth year running we'd won it. We won the cup again last year. We were injury riddled last year. It was, you know, it was emergency ward 10 down here, Holby City, and all the rest rolled into one. You know, the physio brought his camp bed down here last year.
So how do you keep the motivation going when you've got so many injuries or you've got people off? What's your would you say, if you've got a coaching motto, because you're a man with such wealth and experience and knowledge, you know, you've got this integrity and this experience behind you, and you seem to keep people motivated through tough times. How do you do that?
Well, I leave the coaching to the coaches, but my managerial message is know your role. If everyone sticks to their job and does it to the best of their ability, it'll all fall into place, it'll all work, and everyone will have a good night out. We've got to give value for money. That's what you have to do in any sport, especially professional sport. You know, the ticket says versus, it doesn't say beating. We obviously try to beat the opposition every time, but it might not always work. But if everyone's bust a gut and done their best to get that victory, then that side of it will fall into place and people will keep coming back. And we have a big fan base, and we've got to entertain them. But, you know, the coaches have to coach, the forwards have to shoot, the defensemen have to defend, the goalie has to catch the puck, the fans have to cheer, and the off-ice staff all have their roles as well. So my big mantra, if you like, from the management desk is know your role, stick to your role, and be as good as you can be in that role.
Oh, that's so inspirational. And I think listening to yourself, and more now, people are becoming what we call sports entrepreneurs, and looking at more sports as a business. What tips would you give to anybody who is maybe looking into sports as a business and not just as a sports person?
Well, again, one of my other favourite phrases is you've got to give value for money. It's got to be blue collar. Everyone has to work hard. I'd have a team of blue-collar ice hockey players rather than a couple of stars and, others on far less money. I'd have a whole team of blue-collar hard workers and grafters will win you a title. It'll win you a championship, and the same applies if you're on the business side of things. If you don't put the hours in and you don't put the time in, a teacher a long time ago wrote in my autograph book when I left primary school, it's not the hours you put in, it's what you put into the hours. And sadly we have to put many hours in, but then we cram those hours with good work and good work ethic. So you got to work hard, but you've got to give value for money. The fans have to leave the building, win, lose or draw, feeling they've had a good night out. The bottom line is we try to entertain those fans week in, week out, whatever day we play, and whoever we're playing against.
Well, you're doing something that's working and something that is successful, because the fans and the people that keep following you are just so committed to Nottingham Panthers, coming back stronger each year, and you're doing that. So, thanks for today, and really looking forward to seeing David later, and hope to see you again in the future. But thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you. From Benedict, man arriving, it's a rebound, and David Clarke scores on the rebound. Caprero shot.
We're here today at Capital FM Arena in Nottingham, and I'm with David Clarke, who is the captain for Nottingham Panthers. David, great to have you here.
Hi, Sharon.
Yeah, well, thank you for taking part in this interview. So, first of all, for our viewers that don't know who you are, just give a little bit of background knowledge who you are and what you do.
I'm a professional hockey player, playing for the Nottingham Panthers, as you said. I've been here for 10 years, going into my 11th. Great place, great city. Had a lot of good memories and good times here, and hopefully we can get some more of those for years to come.
11 years is a long time to be here. So what's the secret of staying?
It's an amazing team, great organisation, very, very classy, terrific fans. We get a great following here. We have 6 to 8,000 people weekly that come and watch us, and they give us a great back in, and it's a great atmosphere. And I like winning too, and fortunately we've got a winning tradition here now in Nottingham, and I'm proud to be a part of that.
6 to 8,000 people watching you. God, do you feel the pressure?
To be honest, I enjoy that. Less, when you're comfortable with what you do as a profession, I think. And the teammates you've got around you, I like that challenge, to perform and in front of, fans that expect you to win. So no, I enjoy that. I think you put me in front of a microphone and a camera, that's when I'm a little more uncomfortable.
I wanted to ask you, first of all, when did you realise, when was the moment when you thought, right, actually you can become a professional hockey player?
To be honest, I always played sport just because I loved it. Growing up as a kid, you watch people play, and you want to be as good as the people that are playing the professional level at that time. But for me, I think it was always fun. I'd still say I'd do it now if I wasn't fortunate enough to get paid. But when I was 15, 16, my coach in Peterborough at the time, well, he wasn't in Peterborough, he just saw me playing as a junior, and he really, really thought I had quite a lot of potential, and he liked what he saw, and he gave me the opportunity to sign my first senior contract, I guess, as a 16-year-old. So that was nice. But again, I didn't quite realise, my potential until he kind of got me by the scruff of the neck and started making me do absolutely everything to be the best player I could be.
So would you say that commitment is a big thing and of part of your job, and also what does it take to be a team player? What do you look for in other people who are coming through?
Well, to be part of a team, I think it takes up lots of different personalities and characters to get a good team. I don't think you can have too much of one type. Traditionally here we like to have good people that are honest, hard-working, that sacrifice a lot. And then you always have the odd character in there that lightens the mood when needed. But no, it's always a makeup of different individuals. I believe make a really solid team, and we have been very fortunate in Nottingham to be able to put successful teams together.
And we've heard from Gary earlier on that there's some exciting things happening this year, isn't there? So tell us a little bit more what's going to happen in the next season.
Yeah, we've just been entered into the Champions League hockey, which is the equivalent of the football Champions League. Last year was in the Continental Cup, which I guess if you were to compare the two, you would say that was the UEFA Cup, and this is the Champions League. So yeah, it's a very prestigious event. It's going to be a lot of eyes and a lot of media on it, particularly in hockey nations like Sweden, other parts of Scandinavia. and we're excited to be going to it. It's a lot more travelling, but hey, that's what we do. So.
Well, there's been a lot of travelling, but there's also, you've had a lot of injuries, haven't you? And how do you bounce back? How do you keep bouncing back, and where do you get your energy from?
You're making me sound like a Band-Aid. But no, I've had a few. I've played a long time too, but it happens. It's part of the game. It's a contact sport, and it's going to happen. So yeah, I always see an injury as a challenge to you personally. You know, to come back and be a better player, because everybody will always question somebody when they get injured. Are they going to be the same player? Are they going to be able to do what they've done before they were injured? And for me, I've always found it as more of a motivational tool to come back stronger, and pretty much every time I have. So right now I've had shoulder surgery during the summer, and I've said myself and my physio really enjoying the challenge of kind of coming back stronger, and focus on other areas while that's healing. And I'm excited. I like the challenge.
I think you've said the key word there, physio, and it's listening and trusting them and trusting your own body, would you say? Pushing. So do you feel like you push yourself through the limits to get back?
Yeah, that you're very true. You have to trust your medical team, and because ultimately they know way more than what you do. I'll keep going till I can't go, I guess. And I think we're all like that as athletes, whatever sport you play. But our physio, he's very good. He knows his stuff, and he's kind of putting me through a bit of pain at the moment, but it's more scar tissue and helping me overcome the surgery, I guess, which I've had. So yeah, I completely trust him, and we've got a good relationship, and it's nice, because when you do get to being back out there again and fully recovered, it's kind of, you've got that bond, and you can have a little smile when things start going well.
Now I want you to tell us a little bit more about Clarke & Co. and the inspirational work that you do with the young people, and how you are inspiring a younger generation to play hockey in the future.
The hockey schools we do, they're aimed at giving kids in Britain the best opportunity to develop as young hockey players and young athletes and people as well. We do a lot with them off ice as well, and it's something that's really close to my heart, because I'm a British player playing in the British League, but there is a lack of kind of development for the younger kids coming through and getting them to that level where the likes of Nottingham Panthers are picking them up and giving them an opportunity. And so for me, it was something I wanted to do. My son also plays hockey, and that's a nice feeling for me to see him play, and it all ties in. It gives him a good opportunity in the summers to work with professional coaches, professional players, to give them an insight into what our lives are about and what it takes to get to the top. And not all of them will become professional hockey players, but they learn how to get the best out of their ability, and they enjoy themselves. It's a really nice environment to learn in, and to become better people and better hockey players.
Right, David, now I want you to tell us a little bit more about how you believe it's important to have the backing of your family, and how important family is to commitment, time management, and driving you forward.
It's massive. I say up until I was 18, like, my parents took care of everything. Like they'd drive me to and from the rink at very unsociable hours, especially when I was playing for the junior England teams, and they pick up all the financial side of it too, and equipment and fees and petrol and all sorts. So yeah, it is very, very important for me to be where I am now. A lot of that's down to my parents being so supportive, and my brother and sister kind of not seeing Dad as much sometimes at weekends, because he was taking me across the country to different games and preps and stuff. But yeah, it's very, very important that you have your family behind you, particularly when you're younger. And then now it's not a lot nicer for them now to kind of come and watch me play, and they know they're not going to have to put their hand in their pocket, and they can see the product of all of their hard work too.
So what exciting plans have you got planned? You've got a major event coming up, haven't you? Which is, I think, bigger than anything else that's going to happen this year.
Absolutely, yeah. I get married in just over a week, actually. So 4th of July, I tie the knot, which we're really excited for. After that, it will be rehab, getting stronger. A little break, nothing major, because obviously I've got to get stronger. And then the hockey school starts, so we'll have probably 200 plus kids coming in or down to Peterborough during over 3 or 4 weeks, and we'll put them through their paces, and then the season starts. We're straight into it on the 11th of August.
Right, David, tell us a little bit about when the season starts. How busy are you, and what does a typical day look like to you?
Start of the season's very, very hectic, because you're getting in. We have 12 imported players that come in at different times over the space of 3 days, and then we all got to get used to most of the new guys have got to get used to the environment and get their paperwork in and do media and to have get their banking sorted out and all sorts. So it's pretty hectic, and then alongside that you've got to be training and working out and doing everything. So for the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season we're skating probably twice a day, and we'll have a gym session in there. So we'll go on in the morning at probably 10:30, off the ice by 12, and we'll have a bit of stretch rehab, and we'll go over to the gym, work out for about an hour and a half, and then we'll go and grab some lunch, and then we'll probably be back in at around 4 o'clock, 4:30, and skate for another hour and a half, and then that'll be probably about 4 days straight like that.
You're going to be busy. You're going to be very busy and very happy. What tips would you give to anybody watching this that maybe really want to push their career in ice hockey?
To be honest, it's you've got to enjoy it. You've got to enjoy what you're doing. Like anything, any work, job, schooling, education. If you're not enjoying it, then you're never going to fulfil your potential. You're never going to, get the most out of yourself. So, if you do enjoy it and you do like it, then, push yourself as hard as you can. Try and get as much help, education, sponsorship if you can, and, take it as far as you can, because it's very rewarding, being in a team environment, achieving stuff as in team environment is I would say probably one of the best feelings has been for me in my career. So yeah, push yourself. Well,
we look forward to following your career over the next year. Some exciting things happening. So back to you guys. It's been a brilliant day down at the Nottingham Panthers, and we look forward to coming and watching them when the season starts.